Hello, my name's Nathan Taylor, otherwise known as Sockmatician, and this is a double knitting tutorial. In this particular tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to work the center tab start for a double knitted shawl, which is a triangular shawl that works down the spine and across the wingspan with increases there and there. It's probably better known as a garter tab, but because we're working in double knitting, there's no garter stitch here involved. And as you can see, this is the little this section here is the area which starts going sideways, and we pick up stitches all the way around it and then start working backwards and forwards along here. It's beautifully neat and tidy, and it's of course entirely reversible and looks just as good on both sides. So how is it done? Buckle up, it's quite a long ride. The first thing you need to do is tie a slip knot with your two lengths of yarn and hold the slip knot in your right hand and the two yarns splayed out in your left, and we're going to cast on 4 pairs of stitches using the alternating invisible cast on for double knitting. I do have another video showing that in more detail, but a quick roundup. Holding onto the needle there, I'm going to go down in front of the thumb strand and up between the two, down behind the finger strand and up in front of the thumb strand. That's already 1 stitch cast on. Then I'm going to continue that journey down behind the finger strand and up in front of the thumb strand, down between the two and up behind the finger strand, and give that a bit snug there, and that casts on 1 pair of stitches. Let me show you that one more time broken down and then I'll speed it up. Down in front of the thumb strand and up between the two, down behind the finger strand and up the front, down the back and up the front, down the middle and up the back. So you can quickly do that by saying, I'm just going to pick up the front of the thumb strand, wrap everything around twice, and then pick up the back finger strand like that. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and there we have our 4 pairs of stitches cast on. Give the little yarns a little twist that way, hold on to the yellow one so that it locks everything in place, and turn everything around, ready to start knitting. So we've got our cast on, we ignore the slip knot, that's going to be undone when we get to it. So we've got our 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of stitches, and we are ready to go. Here we are then. Row 1, working standard double knitting, keeping all the colours as set. 1 pair worked, 2 pairs worked, 3 pairs worked. Ignore that scratching, it's the cable on the base of my light box here, I can't do anything about that. And then for this last pair, ignoring the slip knot, we're going to work the slip stitch edges, which means slipping the first stitch of the pair purlwise like that, bringing both yarns to the front, take the knit coloured yarn to the back going under the pearl coloured yarn, and then slip that one also, and then just unwrap those yarns like that. Here I can just pull out the slip knot if I want to. I'm just going to leave it there, doesn't get in the way, it just keeps everything in place until a little bit later on. So now I'm going to work the slip stitch edge for this new one. As always with the slip stitch edge, take the needle under the front yarn, and then I can work a knit stitch there. Bring the knit coloured yarn only to the front because the pearl coloured yarn is already there. Purl with that, take both yarns to the back and get ready for double knitting. 1, 2, slip stitches again, 1, like so. That's 2 rows worked. This is row 3, working the slip stitches. 3 rows worked. Every now and then you're going to have to stop and untwist your yarns because working the slip stitch edges does twist them up a little bit. This is row 4. If you get lost, you can simply look at how many stitches there are of this colour, including the one on the needle. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this yet to be worked. So this is row 4 because that first one there was created by the cast on. So we've done 1, 2, 3 rows on top of that. So this must be row 4. And you keep doing this until you've worked 11 rows. Working the slip stitch edge at each end, of course. Okay, here I am, and you can see I've worked my 11 rows of doing this. If you need to count, you should have in the middle 2 rows you'll be counting, because if you count at the sides, of course, you've got the slip stitch edges. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 yellow stitches in the column, which means I've worked 11 rows. So row 12 is, I've already done the first pair there from the slip stitch edge. So it says DK2AB. So I've already done 1. So I'm going to DK another 1 pair there. AB, of course, just relates to the colours of the yarn that I'm using. And then the next thing I need to do is a left-leaning single decrease. So I need to rearrange these 4 stitches into knit, knit and purl, purl. And then I work an SSK for the front with my yarn A. And then I do a purl 2 together with yarn B. So no slip stitch edges there. Then without turning the work, I've got to rotate the piece 90 degrees clockwise and pick up 5 pairs of stitches along the side of the work. So there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There should be 5 nice juicy stitches there ready for me to work into. And I do that as follows. So going in from front to back, insert the tip of the left needle, the one that's not attached to anything at the moment, into the outermost leg of the leftmost V along the top edge of the work on the back face of the fabric. There's a lot to process there. Basically, it's this one. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Those are the outermost legs. They're the ones which will be sort of poking around the corner at you. And I'm going in from front to back. So I go in like that. There you go, nice and simple. And then going in from front to back again, I insert the tip of the left needle into the outermost leg of the leftmost V along the edge of the work on the front face of the fabric. So that's that one there. It says going in front to back, which is a little bit fiddly, but it's still correct to make sure you get all the strands of yarn there. And then I'm going to complete that by going into there, the next one. And do you know, sometimes it's easier to pick it up with the right needle and transfer it across like that. So that's what I'm going to do. There we go. Pick it up with the right needle and transfer it across. There. Pick it up with the right needle, transfer it across. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then finally into there, and then like so. So I've now picked up 5 pairs of stitches across the edge of my work. Once I've got those pairs of stitches, I then just DK into them with standard pairs, working in AB. 1 pair like so, all the way to the end. 2, 3, 4, and finally 5. So it's now starting to look this sort of rather odd shape, but that's okay. Again, without turning the work to the back, rotate the piece again 90 degrees. So that's like this. Now we're going to picking up stitches across the bottom edge, what was the bottom edge, our cast on edge. And you can see I've got one V there, a second one there, and a third one there. We did have a fourth, but we sort of gone into that one with the last stitch of that row there. So this is the kind of tricky bit, trying to get the right bits in the right places. So using the tip of my left needle and going in from front to back, I'm going to pick up the leftmost leg of the back stitch and then the rightmost leg of the front stitch. The leftmost leg of the back stitch, the rightmost leg of the front stitch, the leftmost leg of the back stitch, can you see that on camera, and the rightmost leg of the front stitch. And now we've got 3 extra pairs to work across the bottom of our cast on tab. I'm going to work across this one now, but at the end of this, so into the 3rd pair, I will work the instructions for the slip stitch edge. Things will start to get a little bit bunched on the needle at this point because we're forcing things to go around the corners, but that's okay. Stick with it, all will work out in the end. So I've done those 2 pairs of DK stitches, and now I'm going to work the final one. This is where it gets a bit tricky, as a slip stitch edge, like so. If all has gone well, you should have 11 pairs of stitches at the end of this row, and then the threads from the slip knot hanging down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Bingo! So that is our center tab start. And it looks just the same on the back. It's this weird U shape at the moment. But what we're going to do is we're going to work across the next row, and I'm going to work 3 pairs. 1, 2, 3 pairs, then 1 pair of contrast, then another 1, 2, 3 pairs, and then another contrast pair, and then our final 3. So 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. That's our 11. And the contrast pairs, we're going to be setting up the first stitches of what will be the wings of the shawl. So the bits that will go between all of the shaping increases. I hope that made sense. It made sense in my head. So working across the back then, work the first pair of stitches according to the slip stitch edge instructions. That's pair 1. So remember doing 3 to begin with. Knit with A, purl with B. The 3rd one, knit with A. Remember my yarn A is now purple. Purl with B. That's 3 done. This one is going to be the contrast, so this will be what sets up the corner of the new wings between the frame. And then back to these will be the middle stitch. So these 3 pairs will be the stitches that form the central column or the spine of the shawl. 1, 2, and 3. This next one will be the contrast pair again, which will be the corner of the other side, the other wingspan, and then these 3 will be the ones that go out along the top edge of the shawl. This will make a lot more sense when I turn this round and show you what we've got so far. And as always, from this point onwards, slip stitch edge at the end. So, in order to really see this in action, I'm going to put it onto the cable so I can spread my stitches around like that. And if I hold it up this way, this is the section that will become the across the top. So this will be the back of the neck really, and then these 3 pairs of stitches will come down in a column here. These will go out and these will go out, and my contrast colored stitches there will start the triangles there and there. I hope you can envisage that. Let me bring my original Genesis up to show you what that means. So These stitches across here relate to these stitches here. These three at the edge are what will give rise to this section of the wingspan. These at this edge will give rise to what is here. These three in the center will come down and become the spine of the shawl, and this one, the little contrast ones, these are the stitches right in the corner there, and we'll start working increases along here and here every other row, and that will give us our triangular shawl shaping. And that is how to work the center tab start for a triangular shawl in double knitting. Zip!